Welcome back to the Game to Love podcast. Today we have the very special guest, Peter Torebko. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. It's going to be a good one.
You're a name that's been discussed constantly by me and Jaron. We're following a lot of your events. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. And so, how's life been for you in quarantine over there? Are you in Germany at the moment?
Yes, thanks for letting me join your podcast. So yes, I'm in Germany. I'm preparing for the next tournaments. Actually, there's the next tournament in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I have the German Tennis Federation has organized a series of tournaments in a round-robin system. Eight groups are playing, and most of the best players in Germany are competing in it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Germany seems to be one of the quickest nations to sort of come back on their feet with all of this. So you've seen recently a lot of exhibition tournaments. I see the guys are like Hanfman, and you've got Dustin Brown playing in different tournaments as well. So it's good that tennis is finally getting back. Like, I've been trying to watch a bit of it because it's just nice to see a bit of tennis getting back on the screens. But how are you feeling in yourself? Are you ready to play tennis again, or?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, it was very tough for me because there was no motivation for me because I didn't really know when the next tournaments are going to start again. So just practicing in order to be fit, maybe in 2 months or 3 months, was it was really tough. So now, as we have a date where the next tournaments are going to be held, helped a lot for me for my motivation to start working again and to focus on my game.
Definitely. I saw was the last tournament you were playing was in Turkey, wasn't it? And was this cancelled? You had a quarter-final match against Cervantes.
Yes, so I won the second round match against Ilhan, the Turkish player who was also top 100 once, and yes, I was very satisfied with my performance and thought I was in a good shape.
Very, yeah.
And then suddenly they said, in the evening, all the players got emails from the ITF and the ATP that all the tournaments are cancelled. So so everybody had to book flights and come back home as quick as possible because I think 2 days later the borders got closed, or yes, they closed the borders, so it wasn't possible to come back to Germany again.
Wow.
So luckily we still got one of the last flights from Turkey back home, and it was okay.
Wow.
But off tennis altogether, what have you been up to recently? You been bored or?
No, because there were a couple of things to do actually. Because first of all, my friend called me, man, I want to build a terrace in my new house.
Wow.
Do you want to? And I said, yes, why not? I've never built a terrace before in my life, but I said, yes, I'm a quick learner, I can do it. So I helped him with it. And as my parents got to know that the terrace looked pretty fancy, after a few days, they said, wouldn't you mind building us a terrace as well? So with my new skills, I tried to build a terrace at my parents' place, and so I ordered all the stuff that I needed, all the material, and yes, I did it. Of course, not perfectly, but
Nice work, man.
Are we expecting to see after tennis? There's going to be Peter Torebko's terracing firm, which is coming out afterwards. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what my friend said. They said, "Yeah, we're also building a house. When are you opening your firm?" And I said, "Yeah."
Perfect.
They were making fun of me.
Well, there you go. You got some more advertising here on the podcast. There'll probably be some other calls coming in from around Europe now.
Who knows?
More
and apart from that, I was also I'm finishing my university. I'm studying economics, and now I'm just before my bachelor thesis, so
wow.
I need to finish that, and then I'm ready to go wherever it takes. I don't know.
That's brilliant. I mean, we were just speaking to Michael Gertz on our last podcast, and he was saying a similar sort of thing. He's just coming to the end of his qualification as well. So then it's just what lies ahead after that. But you will have a good basis to go forward then, at least. So
yeah, I think it's really important to have that alongside the tennis, obviously, because it's something that's going to always stay with you. And I feel like now, like you're studying economics, it's such a big, wide area. In a time like this, there's so much to learn in the world of economics. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people writing their theses on the economic impacts of coronavirus, right?
Yeah. So I'm actually writing my thesis about digitization in sales, or how do you call that? Yes. Luckily not in English, as you see that my English is not perfect, but no, I'm very interested in this field as well, because tennis, of course, was the biggest part of my life, but there's more than just tennis. So the question now, what happens after the career, let's say? Nobody knows if you really want to stick with it, if you want to become a coach or tour with somebody, with some players. I don't know, or just start something completely new. There are examples for both.
You're giving yourself the options, which is the main thing. So I think that's the key. So yeah, well done to you for that. Yeah, is it possible? Yeah, if we turn away and look back at some of your career and look at some of the results and bits and pieces. I was looking back through your career and looked that there's been some good runs in your career. Back in 2012, you had like a storming run back in the UK where you took, I think it was 2 tournaments in 2 weeks in the UK in Birmingham and Bath. And then you took another one, I think later you've taken in Newcastle as well, in which you beat Kyle Edmund, which well, what a great...
so humble, you almost forgot.
Almost. What a great statistic. Is there something about the UK and playing in the UK that you like?
Actually, I really like, and I guess you're from the UK, and I wasn't sure about it because, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe from the States or wherever. So I thought, and now when I heard you speaking, I thought, you sound like, like British English. It's the British English. So,
we're both British. We both work in London. So yeah, that's where the accent's from.
So I'm very. I've never made really bad experience with British people, and I really like them. It's a very good chemistry between me and the British and the Brits, let's say. I have some friends who live there. I don't know if I'm making too many mistakes, but
no, it's fine. Your English is quite good, man. Honestly, be more confident with it. You're smashing it.
Yeah, for sure.
And no, so every time I'm in Britain, I'm very confident also, and just happy to be around people that are mostly honest. I don't have a feeling that I have to they want to cheat on me, or they want to rip me off, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think this is the reason why I really I'm repeating really, I think, too many times. I'm just realizing that.
It's fine.
I'm just missing words. Unbelievable.
No, it's funny you say that, because not all the tennis players agree with you on that. Then we had who did we have on last week? Biabian Schufs, and she was saying that the British umpires are some of the most biased.
I read that. Yes, So what did she say?
She was saying about
the worst umpires.
The worst, yeah.
The worst umpires. Said that they were too old, I think, and they couldn't see, because when you're playing in ITFs, they have to call the line calls themselves, and they're getting a lot of them wrong. And she said, that in England it's been the worst out of all of the countries she's played. So what can we say? We're sorry.
I cannot really agree. The good thing about Britain or the British tournaments is that I guess the LTA has enough money to to how do you call that, to organize linesmen in those tournaments. So even the lower tournaments, the ITFs, you're mostly playing with at least one linesman, and on the far sideline, which helps a lot, especially on hard court and indoors. So of course, if you only have to cover one line, it should be fine. Of course, if you're serving with 200 kilometers an hour, it's tough to call the balls perfectly, but still, I have, of course, there are always bad calls, but I think it's everywhere the same. I don't really agree on this statement, but everybody makes different experiences.
Mate, I think there's always room for error. It's a very difficult job to do. It's not an easy job to do for sure. But I know you were saying that you love in England, but in more recent years, for me, looking at watching some of your games and stuff, a lot of it has been clay courts. You're very good on the clay courts, loving the clay courts. You just seem to be able to move much more freely on it. Is that your favourite surface?
Yeah, so it was funny that my first tournament I won was on carpet, which is fast, and usually the ball is bouncing lower. And also the German championships that I won with under 18 was also on carpet. So I beat, for example, Gojovcik. I don't know if you have heard about him, but he's I think also almost top 100. So there were some good players playing, and I came up pretty late because I wasn't good in the early age. So yes, those early victories on fast-duck surfaces, maybe they were also due to my serve. I don't know if this is correct, but anyway, yes, my serve helped me a lot on those faster surfaces. But other than that, I really like grinding it out and sliding on the clay. Playing drop shots, trying to figure out a way with high balls, with low balls, with slice, to play the opponent out instead of just hitting it hard and without a head or without a strategy. I'm more like a strategic player, if you can say that.
100%. I'm glad you said it, because that's exactly what I've recognised in your game. There's so much grit and determination when you're on court. And I feel like you just thrive off the clay in terms of like, there's typically a lot more rallies.
Those drop shots.
It just seems those drop shots. He's got the drop shots on lock as well.
I was watching some of your matches, and I just thought it must be an absolute nightmare to play against you. 1 second you're right at the back of the court, the next second you're just doing these tiny little you're playing drop shots from the like near the baseline as well. Like crazy like shots, but they're just landing just over, and you're catching people out with like these fake shots. But yeah.
Now recently I was practicing with a good player. I think it was Morang, and I think his coach, his uncle, he was on the court, and I played this drop shot, but moving backwards. So the opponent wasn't expecting it, obviously, but so he said it went, I think, into the net, and he said it was the wrong shot anyway. And a few minutes later, I played this exact same shot, and it went over, and it was a point because the other one. And I said, "Yeah, I know it. Maybe it's the wrong shot, but I love it because the other one isn't expecting it, and sometimes it works."
Yeah, I think it's got sort of the shades of, well, I'd say Kyrgios is probably copying you with a few of these things rather than the other way around. I think that you've been on the tour a lot longer than what he has. But yeah, he does a lot of the similar things, like pretending to go for a big shot and then just dropping these little shots over the nets, which it's a really hard skill.
Another player I really like to see do it is Giannessi.
Yeah.
Giannessi is very good at it. He's got a very good, a lot of shot versatility as well.
Yeah, very good.
I think Kyrgios is very... I think he's very talented, so he has so many options, and this was also the same what everybody said about Roger, that he had a certain time where he didn't know which shot he should play, because he had so many in mind, and he could also execute all of them. So sometimes your first choice is the best, you just have to do it, or your first idea is the best. But some players, they just can do one thing, and it's going to happen, but still it's too good because it's just it's the way the distance is too far to run or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, something I actually wanted to ask you, and I sort of already know the answer to my question now because I can just see the way you're talking and the way you are. You're a very calm, laid-back person. When you're on court, a lot of your games, I've noticed, there's like a lot of high-pressure situations. Obviously, it's tennis in general, but there's a lot of times where you're saving match points and big crucial moments, turning points. It's just extremely exciting. I just want to know, like, mentally, how do you do that, man?
Yeah,
the game's never lost with you ever, is it?
That's true. And I think this is also the reason why I made many enemies from those betting society, or how you ever want to call that.
Yeah.
Because so many times I'm leading and I'm almost winning the match, and suddenly everything is turning around. And also the other way around. And one funny story was last year I played against Albert Ramos, the Spanish guy.
Okay.
It was a challenger. He was second seed. He was, I think, maybe not in a good shape, but I think 2 weeks later he won an ATP event at 250 and played the final. I think it was somewhere in Austria, Kitzbühel. I don't know. But anyway, so I played him, and I was up 6-4, 5-1, serving for the match at 5-2. At 5-4, of course, I had a match point. I had a smash almost a meter behind the net. I didn't make it. I hit it full power in the net. I lose 5-5, 5-6, 5-7 the second set. And I was like, oh my God, of course I'm going to lose now. So I make the longest set break I've ever done. And I thought maybe it helps to come back. And it didn't really help. So it was I was 5-1 down in the third set. And suddenly I turn it around again and I win 7-5.
So it's an emotional roller coaster.
There's the reason I asked you, because I've seen it happen so many times, and I just always find it very fascinating to see, like, in your mind in these situations, like what's going on in your head.
So in this match, actually, it was funny because, of course, as a player, you feel the moments where, oh, now I'm gonna lose. This where you don't feel confident anymore. Of course, the serve can help you, but if you're too tight, then also the serve is not going in. So in the third set, when you're with your back against the wall, you have nothing to lose. You just hit it. You get loose again, and the opponent gets the feeling, oh, now I need to win this match. No, I'm up 5-1, and I was down 5-1, and now something is done. And also, what helps a lot is the support from the side of the court. So fans. In this moment, I was not traveling with the coach, and I'm usually never traveling with the coach. But there was a family, and the father was there, and he was supporting me. I was down, and I thought, how in the world is he believing in me? Because maybe he's betting on me. That's why he's supporting me. But yeah, especially in the last few years, this is getting too popular. So anyway, I was focusing on him, and I thought, yeah, this helps me now to still believe in me. And after playing two good games, I thought, yeah, maybe one more break and everything is possible. So this guy was there with his family and the kids, and they were cheering for me, and and this helped me through the match. Actually,
wow,
that's a cool story.
Yeah,
I can tell you now, if we're ever watching you, we'll be cheering you on as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Hopefully when tennis comes back, we're planning to go to a few events as well. So fingers crossed. Well, Germany will probably be on the radar as well. There's so many events going on in Germany. That looks like the one which has started up again soonest as well. But
internationally, I don't know. And I think the ATP announced that it's not going to start before the end of July, I think now.
Yeah, for sure. With talking about Germany, this was another place. Back in 2014, you sort of went on a bit of a tear. Was it three events in 3 weeks, 3 wins? Like, amazing. And this was in, I think it was Kassel. Is it? I don't know if that's Essen and Trier.
Trier.
Yeah. And in the last 2 of those, you didn't even drop a set for both of the whole tournaments, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then,
I played a few good. Yeah.
And I was going to say, and then after that, you got to the semi-final of the next tournament as well. So to play 4 weeks running or something like that, and to still be at that level. Would you say that this was some of the best tennis of your career you were playing then?
Yeah, I think there were a few periods, of a few times where I played very well, for me well, where I also beat some good guys. But this season was very interesting because my friend, a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, he was one of my best mates. He was traveling with me because he's a tennis coach, and it was a time of holiday, the summer holiday in Germany.
Yeah.
So in this time, he doesn't give lessons. He's free, and he said, instead of going for a holiday and traveling somewhere, I want to spend the time with you. And as he loves tennis so much, he was supporting me. And I played a few.
Sounds like a great friend.
Yeah, great friend. And he's just so into tennis that we play games, those funny games where he sends me a screenshot of activities of a certain player, and I have to guess the player. Because in 1995, this guy won Cincinnati, and also after that he beat somebody, and then I said, okay, who could that be? It's really funny, but sometimes he has this knowledge about some tennis players, and he loves the game so much. So yes, this helped me a lot during those weeks to have a friend with me, to travel not only with him but also to talk to him, because a tennis match never goes linear or like straight, just 6-2, 6-2 without any breakpoints, without any. Of course, sometimes, but very, very rarely. Usually, there are some turning points or some points where the match could turn around. And if you're not there, if you don't feel the confidence and don't have the support from outside, it can change matches.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say, in that run that you had there when you won the 3 tournaments in a row, you actually came up and you beat one of the our favourite players on the podcast in the next tournament, Attila Balazs. You took him out in 3 sets, which for us it must have been an incredible victory to come back from a set behind against Attila Balazs and beat him. I have to applaud that because
I think he's now 70th in the world or whatever.
Well, yeah,
he's been going for it. He's extremely good on clay courts. He can actually replicate on the ATP tour, playing on hard as well, and it's just shown how far he can come. So it's a brilliant victory, that one.
Yeah, he was. It was a match where I think he came back from an injury, or I haven't seen him for a long time, and he's a kind of player who rips the forehand full with a lot of spin. He has so much touch. He can play drop shots from everywhere. He reads the game perfectly. So he plays slice. So I don't know. I think also a funny story about him. Maybe if you know him well, then you know it, that he stopped to play and he started coaching because he was not motivated anymore. So he coached for a few years, and then he said, "Oh no, I want to start again. I feel it again." And I think it only took him maybe 2 years to come back and play the best tennis of his life.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's crazy. He come back and then he just kicked on and played better than he's ever played before. It's remarkable.
Reminded me of that Michael Jordan documentary I've just been watching.
Also, I just finished it 20 minutes ago.
Same. I literally just watched the last episode before we came on the podcast. So yeah, such a great documentary. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So at least
I think it's the most the most interesting part was how into the game, or how much I think I'm missing the words, but he's so into the game. I don't know how this inner also the same what I was watching, the British band from Coldplay. This Chris Martin. He also, he was so confident in his ability of writing good songs and becoming one of the best bands. This is also what you need to become one of the greatest.
Yeah, I completely agree. And sort of leading on from that, you personally, I'm hoping you believe a lot in yourself. Where's next for Peter Torebko? Where are you going to go? What's going to happen next with you? What's your aims and goals?
Yeah, so this is the question now. The question is, do I really want to, do everything I can to improve my ranking, my tennis, my game, or do I just want to travel around? So I was never the most ambitious player who said I need to be number one in the world, like those guys who, like Boris, for example, Becker when he was playing a junior tournament in Germany. He just stood on the table in the middle of the tournament. He stood on the table in the cafeteria and said, "I'm gonna be number one in the world one day." So I mean, of course, maybe there are many guys or many kids who do it, but this means that there's so much drive in inside of him that he really really wants it. So this was never inside of me. Of course, I'm not. I never want to lose. And if we play like those card games, I'm the worst loser. But in tennis, you become how do you call that? You get used to losing again because you lose every week almost if you don't win a tournament. So yeah, at a certain point, I thought, of course, I was not crying anymore after a loss, but I was just like, yeah, it's another loss, and especially when you're traveling alone. You don't really know what was good now. How can I build on this, on this loss, build up on this loss? I was just, okay, loss. Next tournament, maybe next time I'm gonna be better. So this, of course, helps traveling with a coach who analyzes your game after the tournament and says, yes, of course you lost, but this was good. We can improve that. So you become a better player.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke to Ilya Marchenko on one of our last podcasts as well, and he was saying sort of a similar thing. As you got to the age of maybe like I think it's a similar age to you, like about 30 in his 30s, he said, yeah, just the pressure comes off a little bit, and you can take a loss a lot better than earlier in your career. It doesn't affect you. You're maybe more financially stable as well, so you don't have that worry as much. But yeah, what sort of advice would you give to, because I know that there's a lot of good young German talent coming through at the moment. Obviously we've got Zverev. I think he's pretty much cemented in the top half of the game, but then these other players who are coming through like Daniel Altmaier and Louis Wessels, I think these are two very promising young players from Germany. Like what advice would you give to them, like because they're sort of starting their journey on the ATP tour?
So I think I can see differences between those players. For example, now as you say, there's also Moleka, for example, Rudolf Moleka.
Yep, as well.
So you meet them and you realize immediately, okay, those guys they really want it, or no, this guy he takes it however it comes. So this character-wise, it's difficult to change somebody. I think maybe those players who don't have this drive, they need more guidance from a coach or from some, I don't know, for parents. So the advice I would give is, of course, working hard, but also being professional. So if you really want it, my coach always used to say, he's also a British guy. He said that you just believe in yourself. Of course, it's easy to say that, but it's another thing to really do it and to live it. Then the story about Jim Carrey, who said, "Yes, I was visualizing to get this paycheck at a certain age with at least $1 million or whatever." So he really believes that he really. Of course, I can say, yes, I believe I will be number one in the world, but do I really believe it, or I just say that I believe?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So yes, I think if you really if you're into this game, then you can achieve and you can expect. Maybe you don't have to expect, but you can achieve something. If you don't, if you just pretend to, then you cannot expect anything.
Yeah, no, that's very wise words. I think that's with everything in life as well. Is you need to believe in it. Really, you can't just say it as well. It needs to be something a bit deeper inside of you to really follow through and then put the actions into that. But sort of on that note, talking about like greatness and people who you think are brilliant. Who do you feel like in the tennis at the moment? It doesn't have to be one of the top three, but just someone who you feel like is someone you enjoy watching. Who is one of your favorite tennis players? Would you say?
At the moment,
Yeah, currently, right now.
yeah, of course, I love watching Kyrgios when he does his funny things. And and it's also funny to watch for Fabio Fognini when he's like walking on the court and like a showman. It's just funny. But and tennis wise, yeah, I'm watching Roger. I think there's nothing more elegant and more majestic to watch him play. Team is thing. I like to watch teams game because I hear he plays. I don't know. A friend of mine, he said, yeah, everything is just, how do you call it? He just worked on it, so it's just work what he does. But I think it's more than just work, and I think he plays. I would play similar to him. For example, the shots he makes, I was like, yes, I would also do it if I could. You know, I would also smack the backhand down the line full power if I could right now.
I think I'd do the same as well if I could.
I think when we were speaking to Marchenko, he said that he went onto the practice court and then he was playing doubles, I think, and then they managed to finish their doubles match. And the whole time that it took Dominic Thiem to do his smashing practice, he just was hitting smashes for an hour and a half. So his
shoulder must have been completely impaired.
Yeah, exactly.
He definitely has a massive work ethic. Like it's been come out recently, a lot of negative press about him, about the whole financial play and stuff. But at the end of the day, this guy definitely works hard. It seems to be harder than a lot of other professionals, and you can kind of understand that when someone's with that mindset, it's difficult to sort of. I don't completely want to get into that, but like just generally, like you can tell that a lot of people are saying how hard this guy works.
Yeah. I think not only him, but I think this is what most of the people don't understand. They believe Roger is so talented, he just needs to work 1 hour a day or something like that. When he was that age, when he was 16, 18, he was working harder than anyone else. I mean, also what you read about Kobe Bryant and those guys who were the greatest, they were just the main difference between them and the rest was the worth ethic.
Yeah.
So like when he said, Shaquille O'Neal would be even would play on another level if he worked the same amount as I did, for example. It makes sense because he wasn't ready, or he didn't want to do it, to work so hard. But I believe everybody who is there, who is playing and earning millions, everybody is working or was working very hard. This is what I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Should we wrap it up there, Ben? Or you got anything else to say? I know we're running out of time.
I mean, we've sort of skimmed over your career and bits and pieces like that. I just wanted to ask you just a more general question. I know that you've played in quite a lot of places all over the world, and where would you say that would be your favourite destination, like tennis destination that you've enjoyed playing?
Of course, Britain, anywhere.
Wimbledon.
Other than Britain.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, Wimbledon.
No, actually, I played these qualies in Wimbledon, and I was about to move into the main draw. I was playing the quali final against Ryan Sweeting, some American.
Yeah.
And so I had a match point, actually, serving for the match, and I served an ace out wide, but it was a little bit wide, or it was a little bit deep. I don't remember. Anyway, so instead of just yelling, "Yeah, I won" or whatever, I was waiting for somebody to call the ball, but the linesmen weren't calling it. So I said, oh, "Okay, good." And then suddenly the umpire, the champion, said, "I was out." So he overruled the linesman.
Oh gosh.
And then second serve. No. lost the circuits at this point. Of course, I got broken. I lost the set. I lost the fifth set also. So yeah, I was like a millimeter, let's say, or maybe just another reaction from my point away from the main draw in Wimbledon. So yes, Britain was always a good place for me.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, if you're ever back over in England playing anything, let us know, and then we'll be coming straight over to the tournament to watch you play again.
You'll hear us, man. We'll have a few beers. We'll be there screaming your name, we're cheering you on. If you're down any match points, we'll be lifting you up, taking you all for it.
Yes.
And then obviously you need to hit the good shots as well, but I'm sure that's easy for you.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get you over the line on the first time of asking, rather than going a few more match points.
Exactly. Yeah. About the tournaments, one of the favorite tournaments I think from every player is Melbourne. Playing the Australian Open was for me one of the best experience in my life. Everybody is so friendly. The colors, the weather, everything, the food. So, and also I had some friends there. I met over a colleague, and we stayed at their place. So we got to know also some habits or some culture. Let's say. So that was a great time. I was there twice. Never played well there, but I won a round in the qualies once. But it's this is one of the best tournaments in the world. I think I would, from my point.
You're not the first person to have said that on the podcast. I think it's a very popular one for a lot of people in Melbourne, Australia. So
everyone always says about how friendly the people are there as well. It's always a big thing.
But on that note, we're running out of time. I think we're going to have to just wrap up this call, unfortunately, before it cuts us all off. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. You don't know how much it means to me and Jaron. But just thanks so much, and we just look forward to seeing you playing again very soon.
Yes, thanks a lot for having me, and let's see, and whenever we can start again to play. So stay so healthy, and see you soon.
Too, man.
Definitely.
Can't wait to see you, man.
Cheers, man.
Thanks.
Cheers.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.